Hello players, I am Infinubi, and today is Straterday. While I might consider myself to be a noob, from now until the end of time, there are still valuable concepts that I have picked up in the endless quest for Hearthstone perfection. So every Saturday, I will endeavor to pass on some essential knowledge for successful play. Today, I'm going to talk about a concept that applies to virtually all collectible card games, and one that Blizzard had made very easy to work with in Hearthstone. So after a brief detour, looking at a very basic way to determine the value of a card, we are going to talk about mana curves. How do you decide what cards to put in your deck? There is no easy answer to that question, but a good place to start is something that we call the vanilla test. The vanilla test is a quick and simple way to evaluate a card by throwing out the card's text and just looking at the numbers. A card passes the test when the average of its attack power and its health are equal to or greater than its mana cost. The Chillwind Yeti may look boring without any fancy effects, but it gets a 9 card value out of 4 mana, and no one would ever fault you for having 2 of them in your deck. Now this is obviously a drastic simplification, and next week I plan on taking a more in-depth look at what makes a card good. This week we'll talk about something that might be more important, because it's nice to have a hand that's full of great cards, but it's even better to have a hand full of cards that you can use. And that's what mana curves are all about. Now this is a terrible deck. I built it specifically to be a terrible deck, and it has nothing to do with the cards that are in it and everything to do with its mana curve. Can you see the problem? Now, in a move appreciated by card players everywhere, Blizzard has made it really simple to see. Anytime you're building a deck in Hearthstone, you can mouse over the class portrait in the upper right corner of the screen, and the graph that appears is a visual representation of your deck's mana curve. It breaks down the cards in your deck by their mana costs, and it shows you how many you have of each. Now, it wouldn't be very complicated to do the math on this deck and work out how likely it is that you would have a turn 1 play, or a turn 2 play, or a turn 3 play with this deck. But I think intuitively you can see that the odds are not in your favor. With only 7 cards out of 30 that cost 3 or less mana, it could be a while before you even have a card to play. Maybe if you get to turn 6 you can turn things around, but with almost half of the deck costing 6+ mana, you will inevitably end up with a handful of powerful cards, of which you can only cast 1 of every turn. A bird in the hand might be worth 2 in the bush, but in Hearthstone it will be the cards you can actually play that will bring forth victory. Okay, so let's look at another deck. This deck must be better, right? You'll be able to cast a card every turn for sure, 2 a turn once you get to turn 3, and once you get to turn 6 you'll be casting 2, 3, 4 cards almost every turn. Of course, it is easy to see the problem here. By turn 6, it's likely that the only card you'll have left in your hand is the one that you've just picked up, and chances are slim that the card will have the power to win you the game. That brings me to example number 3, and the crux of this idea. It's easy to say that this deck is bad, and when the topic is mana curves and all you see is a straight line, something is obviously wrong. However, it's not too unlikely to have a turn 2 play and a turn 3 play, and when you make it to turn 6, it is not unlikely that you'll have a powerful 6 mana combination of cards to play. So it can be a little difficult to pinpoint why this deck isn't really good. What it comes down to, in the end, is that not unlikely simply isn't good enough. If you're looking to improve your game, you likely want to win the majority of the time, and having a deck that maximizes your chance of using all your mana every turn is a key component of that. Here we go. This is nice. I can work with this. The majority of the time, I will be able to play a 2-drop on turn 2, a 3-drop on turn 3. Now, you might end up with a lot of 2 and 3 mana cards at the beginning of the game, but those will provide you with a variety of options every turn, which can be supplemented with your hero ability if needed. And you will know that you've got bigger cards in the wings that will be coming along to push your advantage. On the unlikely occasions where you start with high-cost cards in your hand, you can be comfortable knowing that there is a strong chance for your lower-cost cards to be waiting for you on the top of your deck. When you're talking mana curves, consistency is the magic word. You want a deck that has the best chance at providing you the cards you need when you need them. And if you can master that simple concept, you're well on your way to hoarding a large stack of gold and climbing your way up the ladder. I hope you enjoyed learning about mana curves, and if you want to see how well this sexy curve deck plays out, you can come back tomorrow. If you have any questions on this topic, or any others, you can leave them in the comments below, on Twitter @Infinooby, or you can find me at twitch.tv/Infinooby. Thanks for watching.